What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to TCG Madness. In today's video, we're doing another episode of Buy, Sell, or Hold. This will be episode 13 of Buy, Sell, or Hold. In today's episode, we are taking a nice long look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, for those of you that don't know, I do a lot of these sporadically. I do a couple episodes a month of Buy, Sell, or Hold. And pretty much we're just going to take a look at the current market, see what it's telling us, and maybe giving a educated guess on whether or not now's a good time to buy, whether or not a good time to sell, or whether or not we should just hold and wait another month or two and see what happens with the market. Before we go any further, if you guys do me the really big favor right now, please hit that like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys never miss when I drop a video. Also, to comment down below whether or not you agree or disagree with anything I have to say. Always love hearing from you guys. Always like having an open dialogue with you guys. Hopefully we can exchange, maybe see where everybody else is feeling. Maybe we're not all feeling the same on these type of videos. So last time I took a look at Yu-Gi-Oh! I pretty much gave a recommendation of buying. That was over 6 months ago. So let's see how the market now is telling us today and whether or not it's a good time to buy, a sell, or a hold. For our criteria, we're just going to be looking at these sets right here, which are the latest sets that TCG Player gives us. Of course, I am going to be using TCG Player as my reference guide. Again, feel free to use anything else you kind of want to look at. We're going to go as low as Maze of Millennia and see what's going on there, because there is some interesting things going on with Yu-Gi-Oh! For those of you that don't know too, I'm an avid collector of just about everything TCG related. That's why I do these videos. I'm really just looking at it from the lens of, I try to look at it through the lens of a player first and then a collector second, but I am an avid collector. You guys have seen all my, if you've been with me for a while, you've seen all the videos of all of the cards I've been getting graded and stuff like that. So we're going to be looking at Maze of Millennia, because this set was very expensive for a long time and still kind of is as far as Yu-Gi-Oh's standards go. We're going to go back as the full year, and you guys can see, yeah, right there. See, this was about $90, $89 of a set. I thought this set was very expensive. I couldn't understand why. I understand there were some very cool, unique cards that were fan favorites. Flame Swordsman was in this set, so a lot of people were going crazy for that kind of stuff. But you can see, since the time of its release around, let's say, we'll give it a good guess right here, right around that $90, $80 range. It has dropped all the way to about $74, where we're currently at right now. The medium market is about $76.18. But here's the kicker. When you look at the actual card itself, I don't see how we're getting almost $75 a booster box here, right? Like the card, again, that I opened up a couple of these booster boxes. These are the cards I was chasing, the Ultimate Flame Swordsman. They're going for about $24 from TCG Player. Outside of TCG Player, they're going for about $16, $17. The others, Flame Swordsman, the Fighting Flame Swordsman, again, about 15 bucks from TCG Player. See, none of this makes any sense to me. We only have 2 cards right now that are in that upper echelons of almost getting our money back for a booster box. So if you were a player and you were looking to spend money on a booster box, I'm guessing Maze of Millennia is not a good set for you. Now, Triple Tactics was a very expensive card at one point, and it seems to have, just kind of hit a little bit of a lowering tier price. Yeah, you can see right around that $60, $50 range. Really dipping. I mean, even someone was actually able to get it for about $19. Was it a Japanese version? I can't see the photo, unfortunately. But we are hitting around that $32.99 and about $39.99 directly from TCG Player. Again, cards that I'm just like, again, if I was just a booster box, person, if I was a player and I was spending my hard-earned money on a booster box, I'm not looking to Maze of Millennia, so hard pass on that one, so I would be selling on that set. So we're already off to that kind of a start here. Let's take a look at Phantom Nightmare, another good set. And again, you will see booster boxes, very, very expensive. See, booster boxes for me when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Have to be somewhere around that $65 range. Anything above that, I really have to look at seed pull rates. I gotta look at the cards that are worth inside there. I gotta see if it's worth my hard-earned dollars. So if you're spending $75 to $100 on a booster box, especially with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm giving Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of credit recently, and over the course of this year, I've always said Yu-Gi-Oh! Has really been able to maintain that $65, $70 range for a booster box. And then usually they do drop as more sets come out, which is perfect for the player and perfect for the collector. If it's good for the player, it's generally going to be good for the collector too. So that's why I always say I try to look at the lens of the player first, not a collector. Even though personally I am a collector of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I play a bunch of other card games. Obviously, it's a channel that is all TCG all the time. You guys know that about me, or you should by now. But again, if it's good for the player, it's going to be good for the collector. So when you're seeing prices at 96 bucks for a booster box, you do have to ask yourself, what is going on? Are the card prices worth it? Especially when booster boxes, when they first drop, were in that $70 to $80 range. As you can see, this is why I like using TCG Player, because you can look at all the data. So what's going on with the prices? Well, for starters, yes, we do get at least anywhere between 5 cards that are worth the price of a box, right? Or at least 70% of the booster box. $73 for there, 73 for Alo the Prayers, 91 for Yubel, 131 for Promethean, the Black Goat Laughs. I mean, these are some really good prices, and you can see right here, you'll get about half your money's worth. So this second tier right here, all these cards are going to give you about $50 or more. So probably that means too, pull rates are pretty good. It also probably means too, these cards are also seeing a lot of play, because if you look down just a little bit more, a generic secret rare is going for $23.99. Still pretty good. So if you were looking at it through the lens of a player and you wanted these cards for your deck, you're not going to be spending a whole lot of money, because believe it or not, that's actually pretty affordable for Yu-Gi-Oh! But you can see quarter of the century rares, guys, they're the hot commodity right now for Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why I kept saying, like, I hope they don't get rid of it. Even though the Prayers, the voiceless for just a generic secret rare is going to run you $13.50, and that's pretty much a meta card for the decks. Promethean Princess, $13.99. I would like to see these card prices a little bit cheaper, and I'm sure we're going to be getting a bunch of the typical type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Reprints that we're so accustomed to seeing on these cards, because cards that get very expensive and out of control, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does an amazing job with reprinting them in different rarities, and that usually drives the prices down for all their cards, which they've always done a pretty good job of. I will say too, it seems like if you're going on social media, it does seem like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in a bad spot at the moment, just for the players alone. It seems like a lot of people are bowing out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And stop playing the tournaments and stuff like that. I can't speak on that generally, because I don't know nothing when it comes to playing. I just know stuff about collecting, and I'm constantly looking at prices. That's my only thing I care about, right? What are the prices, and what are the booster boxes, and what does that tell me? But if you were on social media, if you're on Twitter, if you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, a lot of like famous Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament players are starting to bow out, which is not a good thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm going to make a video on that in the probably later month or so, if that continues to trend, because I think there's a reason for that. And I really do think it's time for Yu-Gi-Oh! To really seriously change up their formats and come up, or try to rewind the clock and go backwards. But I digress. It's a different video for a different topic for a different day. Next up, we'll look at Legacy of Destruction. Is a booster box set that I think was going to go down as one of the top 10 sets of the year. Love this set. It was a fun opening this set. This is much better when it comes to booster box prices. $56.99. Really good. If you go back, you will see that's the kind of dip we like to see. That's the line we want to see. If you're a collector or player, again, if you're just a player first, this is going to be what you want to see. If you're a collector, if it's good for the player, it's good for the collector. You know what I mean? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? And you can see right here, prices, they're way above the price of a booster box. There are so many cards that will get you the price of admission. I mean, look at all these cards. I don't even have to click on it to do like a deep research and see what's going up, what's going down. This is just excellent news across the board. Nightmare Princess is $28 for just a generic secret rare. Pretty good there. Hopefully we see that, dip below. But as far as sealed booster box prices go, this is pretty good, and the cards within it are very good. I can definitely see you buying a booster box or two, and you're going to get 75 to 100% of your money back. I don't want to say guaranteed. I almost said guaranteed, but you should, right? The numbers are on your side is what I'm trying to say. That's better to say that way. But you can see a lot of the quarter of the century rares, ultra rare Nightmare Throne, Nightmare's Apprentice. Those two cards will get you the price of a booster box back in return. Pretty good stuff right there. And a lot of great quarter of the centuries. We'll go ahead and take a look at one more page before we go to the next set. But this is pretty good. So the other two sets I wouldn't be too high on. I wouldn't be too high on Phantom Nightmare and Maze of Millennia. Also too, I love this. These are the tokens that we started seeing with the mini booster boxes. Hope to see more of that from Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, some really good cards. Even some cards that would run you some decks like Sworn Dragon. All these other cards. The ultra rares even going that high is still pretty good. A couple of ultra rares in the $3 to $6 range. I would feel very confident buying a booster box of Legacy of Destruction. Good stuff there. 25th anniversary rarity. We'll take a quick look at this because, again, not really has to do with booster boxes, but again, $73.99. For this set, I thought this set was going to do much better. I personally enjoyed opening up the set because, again, I'm a collector, so I like seeing all the different rarities. But as far as like actual pull rate stuff like that, it did not deliver as much as it should have. They put a little too many quarter of the centuries. Some quarter of the centuries that should have not been quarter of the centuries. They should have picked other cards. But still, if you're a collector, this would be a fun set. If you're a player, probably not speaking to you as much. $73.99, still very expensive for a anniversary collection booster box, in my opinion. Even $40 for the minis, way too much money right now. Realistically, we should see this around the $29 range, and we should see this around, I would probably say, the $65 range. That would make me feel a little more comfortable, as long as also too these prices don't come down. Last but not least, we got Battle of Legends before we go to the latest set. Battle of Legends, another good set that I enjoyed. Pretty, there's definitely some cards that are very, very expensive. I'm happy to see this card did drop. This was like around the $700 range at one point, which was just insane. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 600. Did not sell for 700. When I was opening up a booster box of this card was in the 700 range. Happy to see it doesn't look like it did sell in that 700. It looks like people actually held off on buying it. And I'm happy to see that this card didn't just keep jumping up, because if that was the case, that was going to be ridiculous. Still pretty expensive for sure. But you can take a look at the rest of the quarter of the centuries. We got a bunch of them that are very, very expensive and are worth the price of admission, the price of a booster box. So that's pretty good too. Good stuff to see all around. Again, quarter centuries are the hot commodity right now. And you can see Legendary of Exodia, which is great to see, and Battle of Legends. The only thing that gives me a little bit of a pause for this set, to say like it would be good buying sealed, is I'm not seeing anything on this page that's just the generic secret rares. That's something you also want to take a look at. I'm looking and I don't see any generic. I just see straight up quarter of the centuries, because when you buy a booster box, you're not guaranteed no quarter of the century. If you buy a case, I think you're guaranteed to. Again, someone who collects more than I do or buys more cases, because I usually buy them by just the singles going on TCG Player. I buy booster boxes sporadically when the price is right, of course, and right now the price has not been right, and that's why you haven't seen me open up. I usually open up a lot of booster boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, and the prices has not been good. When you turn the page, you will see that the more you see more quarter centuries, the first secret rare to my knowledge is right here, Spiritual Beast Tamer Laura, 1263. So if you were buying singles, this would be a good time to buy singles from this set. Sprite Blue, God, I remember when that card was so expensive at one point. Archfiend Advent, yeah, there's a couple of cards in here that I can see that would be good for players. So as far as like sealed goes, no. As far as buying singles go, yes. And I keep telling everybody too, if you are a collector of Yu-Gi-Oh, man, keep buying as many of these quarter of the centuries as you can, because I do think in the next 10, 15, 25 years, they will be worth a lot of money. Next up, and last but not least, is the most popular set at the moment, because it's the newest set, the Infinite Forbidden Booster. This has to do a lot with Exodias. And again, you'll see more quarter of the centuries. Good news is right here, though, we do see our first secret rare on the first page, which is 52 bucks. Pretty good. Booster boxes going for $75.99. I think it is dropping a little bit. Yeah, it was up in the 80s. It's now starting to drop in the 70s. So maybe give it another month or two and we'll see what happens with that one. I still see a lot of, let's see, quarter of the centuries, quarter of the centuries, quarter of the centuries, quarter of the centuries, a lot of the quarter centuries. Still the Millenniums, pretty cool card there. The Dark Magician. The cool thing about this set too is they bring back a lot of like some old cards, but new at the same time as well. So Fiendsmith Engraver. Oh, excuse me, another Fiendsmith Engraver right there is actually the secret rare, the most expensive. That's $110 a card. That's crazy. That's crazy good. So it was in the 90s and then go up and went back down, and now it's back up again. So, all right, I would feel very confident buying a booster box of that. So we're seeing a good mix of both sealed and single market right now. So pretty much pick your poison. The Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate, that's also a pretty good card there. I'm just going to go ahead and check right over to the secret rares. I'm very curious. There are 10 secret rares, so the pull rates on this hopefully are pretty good, but there's a couple of really expensive secret rares. This is definitely, I think, might be the time to buy some booster boxes of the Forbidden, the Infinite Forbidden. I really like this distribution of prices. After this right here, we pretty much dropped from $9 to like $1, so hopefully the pull rates are pretty good. Let's take a quick look at the ultra rares, and we'll see. So $6. The ultra rares are really bad in this set, like really, really bad. So the Unstoppable Exodia, I wish they would have put that in secret rare form, not ultra rare. That's kind of a missed opportunity. Shield of Millennium, that's fine too. The Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. Okay. All right. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of like a mixed bag right now, where I would see, you know, my final recommendation, just given the kind of the quick statistics that I'm looking at and the way the market's speaking to me, I still think now's a good time to buy Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I mean, heck, even if you just want to wait another month or two, most likely a lot of these prices that you saw the booster boxes in that $75 range will eventually drop. For those of you, again, my recommendation right now, I'll be buying Yu-Gi-Oh! Still all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Just pick and choose your poison, right? Like if it's at 56, like the Legacy of Destruction, that's a great price, and the cards in it are definitely worth the price of admission. For the Forbidden booster boxes, I probably would just stick to buying singles. That's why I said I think now's a good time to buy. You're just gonna have to pick your own poison right now at the moment. Now, real quick before we leave, I do want to take a couple of looks at some sets that came before Maze of Millennia. Because we saw Maze of Millennia, the cards inside of them were not worth the booster box. I would stay far away from that set. However, though, buying singles from that set is pretty good. So I would stay away from buying sealed. I would just buy on singles, which is why I said I think now's still a good time to buy Yu-Gi-Oh! I just want to take a quick look, though, at like sets that came just before, and you guys will see. See, that's what I'm talking about. You see why I said, like, I think now's an excellent time to still be buying the quarter century. This card was not that expensive. I actually pulled this card a while ago, and you guys will see this card was not this expensive. This card was in the 20s, and this is why I said now's a good buy as many of the quarter centuries. If it's $10 or $20, buy it. I promise you in another year or two it will jump up to where you're seeing it now. Quarter of the centuries are the hottest commodity going right now. This is why I said buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards is still a good option for you right now. $58 for a booster box, plenty of cards that will get you your money's worth. And if you are smart and you buy some of these quarter of the centuries that are in these sets, you will pretty much have a good time pulling from it. Pretty good. That was Valiant Smashers. Let's take another set before that. Let's take a look at Age of Overlord, another good set that came out. Age of Overlord, a little pricey, but you see cards that are very, very expensive. If you look at some of these other quarter of the centuries, like Visas Samarasa, Darkhold Dragon, Divine Temple, I would be Diabella of the Black Witch. This card was super expensive at one point. Like, super, super expensive. I would be buying on these all day. Yeah, now we're in the 20s. This card was, I thought it was a little more expensive than that, but you can see I would be buying into these cards. Excuse me, I thought I was looking at the quarter of the century. Excuse me, I was actually looking at the secret rare. Sorry. This card was very expensive at one point. Yeah, this card was in the 200s, now all the way down to 100, and you can see right here. So this is why I said to you guys, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still in a good place if you are a collector and a player. Cards are still, you just gotta pick your poison, just make sure you buy at the right time. Quarter of the centuries right here for $19, $16. I would be buying all of these up right now and getting them graded, or just holding them in the sealed collection somewhere. Like, put them in your binders and forget about them. Come back to them in 5-10 years and see what's going on with the market. Pick your poison. Be sure to buy at the right time. If the booster boxes are like $100, make sure that the cards inside of them are worth the price of admission. If booster boxes are $100, but there's only a couple of cards to get your money back, just stick to buying singles. If booster boxes are $50 and cards, there are like 10, 20, 30 cards that can get you your money back, try your luck. Go gamble a little bit. Spend some money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, buy a booster box or two, and see if you can press your luck. Or just buy the singles anyways, because you guys are seeing quarter of the centuries are going to be the hot commodity. In 10, 15 years, I think these prices are still going to continue to rise. We're already starting to see a little bit of that, and they haven't even been around that long. That's my opinion. You guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.